Hi there, my friends. It's Jen Pitta with By the Shore Stamping. Welcome into day 8 of our new color week. This is the 8th and final day that we will be celebrating the new colors of the 2018-2019 Stampin' Up! Catalog. Thanks so much for joining me this week. I've saved one of my favorite cards to showcase for today. It was one of the ones I made last weekend as well, actually the weekend before last now. And I just really love how it came out. I love when something in your head works when you put it onto the paper. That doesn't always work, but this one it did. So let me show you the colors that I'm using, and this might be part of the reason why I love this card so much. One, because it has my favorite Coastal Cabana in it. This is a favorite color of mine, and it was a returning color, so it used to be an in color, and now it is back. I'm also adding in a little bit of gorgeous grape and some Highland Heather. And then in addition to that, we also have Gray Granite as our neutral color. Believe it or not, there's no crumb cake in this card, other than the twine. I guess that counts too. And then some Memento Black. I used that as well. So those are our color combos. And I actually stole this combo from the catalog. So don't forget to use your catalog as a resource. If you're stumped for a color combo or a sketch or somewhere to start, go right to the catalog and kind of flip through and see if there's anything that kind of sparks your creativity. And that's what happened for me. This stamp set we're using today is the Magical Mermaid. This is another one of my faves. This actually came out in last year's catalog, but I still love it. So we're going to go ahead and use that today as well. All right, so let me go ahead and get started. We're starting with the Gray Granite base. Again, this is 8.5 by 5.5, and it's a side fold card. So I'm just going to fold it on the side here. Use my bone folder to get a nice crisp crease there. And I'm doing something a little bit different on today's card because, let me see where I put them. In the new catalog, we have some new note cards and envelopes. I'm not sure if you've noticed them. I should have grabbed the page number for you, but I did not. I think they're towards the back in the accessories section, and they're part of the Delightfully Detailed suite as well, so they'll be pictured probably on that page as well. But they are really cute. I think they're like 3.5 by 5. Yeah, so they're 3.5 by 5-inch note cards, and they come pre-watercolored, so to say. So you can see there's different patterns, and they come in the Coastal Cabana color, and I think this is Fresh Fig, maybe. So there's some different patterns that you can use, and they come all together as a set with the note cards and the envelopes. So these are a great starting point, all just by themselves, if you're looking for something quick and easy to put together. But I did use this, but I used it a little bit differently. I actually just used the front layer of it on my card. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to trim this down, and I'm just going to cut that front panel off. I don't think I trimmed it down at all. No, I didn't. I just used the full panel, just the way it is when you chop it off. So this you can just save and use for either white or vanilla cardstock because it would work perfectly. But I'm going to keep this because I'm going to use this piece as a pre-inked, pre-watercolored base. So we're going to take the Coastal Cabana ink. And it's this is a little bit lighter than the actual color because it's supposed to be watercolored, so it's going to give you a little bit lighter look. And I'm going to take the little seaweed from the Magical Mermaid stamp set, and I'm going to ink that up. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp this along the bottom of this cardstock. I'll do that. I'm just going to kind of vary, some taller, some shorter, just to make it look like it's a little wall of seaweed here. And one more. All right, so see how that gives us some texture all on its own. Then I did also grab the little polka dots from the set. Oh, my polka dots went flying. Go ahead and do that again. All right, so I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to do a little bit of polka dots here and some up here. Just kind of make it look like bubbles in the water, like kind of ocean water. All right, so that is that. And then I took my twine. This stuff is great for all cards and projects as well. So if you don't have any of this in your stash, it's a great thing to add. It's very economical. I think it's only like $3.50 or something like that for this big thing of it. So I'm going to go ahead and take that, and I'm going to tie a little bow over here to the left. So actually, I'm going to follow my rules. I usually like to tie a knot first before the bow when I'm using twine, just so it stays put. So I'll tie a little knot, and I cut myself way too much twine, being very wasteful today. And I'm going to just trim that down, or pull that down, kind of fluff it up a little bit. Get it to the size I want. And then I'll go ahead and snip off the excess, which there was quite a bit today. Alright, so there is that. I'm going to set that aside for a second. When I put this on the card, I wanted a little bit more oomph in the background, so I took a strip of Highland Heather cardstock, which measures 2.5 by 4 1/4, and I'm going to take the Highland Heather ink pad, put this away because I think we're done with this for the moment, and we will do a little bit of background stamping on this as well. This time I'm using the little shells and little crab background, very cute, and I'm going to go ahead and just ink that up and then stamp it on my cardstock right on top. And it doesn't have to be super precise where you're putting it, but just trying to get it lined up. But you can tell that like I kind of overlap that a little bit too much, but you can't really notice because it just looks like speckles, and it's only going to be a tiny bit that's actually showing anyway, so we're just not going to stress too much about that. Alright, so there is that, and I'm going to actually stick this under here, like that. Okay, let's go ahead and actually attach those now, because I think that's all I need to do for those. Do you like when I surprise you with the end result? I kind of like doing that, not showing you what the finished results will be, and just kind of designing as I go. Alright, so we're going to put that down flat. I'm going to put this one down flat. I'm going to put a little bit of extra adhesive on the side here just so that it will sit flatter with this twine wrapped around it. I'm going to stick that right in the middle and then adhere all of that down. Okay, next up I'm going to take a piece of white cardstock, and this is just a scrap piece, so it doesn't have to measure anything specific. You're just going to be, you want a piece that's big enough to hold the full mermaid image. So what I did is I took my Memento black ink and I inked up my little mermaid, stamped her, and then I actually used my blender pen and my ink pads, just squeezing on the covers, and I colored her in using the Highland Heather for this, the Gorgeous Grape for the bottom and her tail, and I used a little bit of Daffodil Delight for her hair, and then I also used our Stampin' Blends Ivory marker for her skin tone. This is a great marker to have if you want to do any skin tone coloring, this one, and we also have Bronze, which are great for skin tone stuff. But because I didn't want to sit here and color that all online, while you guys were watching live, I just colored it in advance. So then you get this cute little mermaid that I fussy cut and hand cut her out. And I'm going to actually slip her right here. And she's just going to go down flat. So I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive to her. And we'll stick her right in here. And pop that down. Alright, so next and final, really, is the greeting that I wanted to do. So I'm going to take the black again, and I'm using Mermaid Kisses and Starfish Wishes, which I think is so cute. And I pre-cut some circles using the layering circles dies, framelits rather. You could, of course, just use some circle punches as well. And then I just put that down on the cardstock. And then I'm going to grab myself, let's see if I have an extra sponge, not really. But I don't want to use my crumb cake one, so I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to use the back side. We're going to use a little bit of gray granite to ink this one. So I'm just going to blot that in the ink pad and just kind of roam around the edges of this circle with my ink. Ink that up a little bit. And then I cut out one of the layering pieces, the little scallop circle from the layering circles, the framelets. And I'm going to go ahead and lay that on top. It's very slight difference, just enough to see a tiny bit of scallop from under there. And we'll put that down. And then I'm going to take some dimensionals. And I like to do a little triangle on my circles, so I just keep it all balanced. So I'm going to pull those off. And then we'll stick that right here. And voila, we have the finished card. What do you think? So there is the two that I did, the first and the second one. This was the one that was my inspiration that I did a couple weeks ago, and it looks just like the one that I just made for you today. So that was our new color week. I'm so glad you joined me for that. I do want to remind you that if you decide to order this week, make sure you use the host code, the U7NB3XGU, to get your free embellishment. And be sure to check out my blog at bytheshorestamping.com for information about my color club, which is starting in July, but today is the last day. June 11th is the last day to get the little color swatch as a free gift for joining. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you'll subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you again soon.